but there are some things that we'll get to in a moment. The police somehow thought that in this particular instance that two men had sort of perpetrated the murder. They thought that they were possibly out for a sexual escapade, that they picked up a guy who perhaps needed some money and then had killed him to avoid paying. I don't have a fucking clue why they came up with that conclusion.
That's actually just confused me completely.
The police thought that how this crime had happened was that two men were looking around for someone to fuck. They picked a guy up who needed money, and then they killed him to avoid paying him the money.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
You don't get it?
No, I get it, but I still don't get why they come to that conclusion.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't get why they came up with that idea either. But that was one of the theories they had anyway. They were like, I think they must have just pulled out this weird thought in their head for some reason. I don't know. It was a weird one. But that's not how it happened. For the rest of the day, detectives sort of scoured the surrounding grounds, but found nothing suspicious. Then a deputy spotted a pathway into a weedy area next to a peach orchard.
Okay.
There he found numerous areas of disturbed dirt all over the ground. The deputy had unknowingly stumbled upon a graveyard. As the police searched the new burial site, another corpse was found. Then another. All of them had been severely beaten before being killed, and all shown signs of sexual assault. Most were migrant workers, but like the first two, there were also a good number of drifters and homeless people involved as well.
Okay.
The autopsy reports said at first that the weapon of choice would be
Machete.
a machete. It could have been... is it Rob Trejo?
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo. Machete kills, man. Machete. This is Machete.
No.
Well, it could have been the inspiration behind it, right?
Maybe.
We'll have to IMDb trivia that later. Probably not, though, because this
Gaga
is...
going to show up in it?
Gaga does not show up. This is way before Gaga. So, all the victims have been stabbed to death. A deep puncture to the chest, followed by 2 slashes across the back of the head in the shape of a cross. All the men had been buried face up. The arms stretched above their head, and the shirts were pulled up over their faces. One officer who was there stated that it was almost ritualistic in the way they were buried.
So I take it they was all like that then?
Yeah, I said all had been stabbed, a deep puncture through the chest.
I do
all of them, yeah. All had been buried face up, arms stretched over their head, and their shirts pulled up over their faces. So yeah, they were all in this very weird sort of position as well. So none of the men had been reported as missing by their family, and if the bodies hadn't been discovered, it's possible that the killer would have gotten away with it. Okay. It's kind of like I think killers in general, they tend to go for people who they feel are more vulnerable. People probably won't miss as much, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, because that's happened in a few of the stories, right? Where it's been like runaway gay guys who weren't accepted at home. No one was going to be looking for them. So that's, easy pickings in their mind, right? You can just take them off the street, do what you want with them.
No one's going to miss them.
No one's going to... Oh, that's really sad to put it that way.
I know.
Oh.
That sucks.
I miss them. Even though I don't know them, I miss them. If it hadn't been for a few little mistakes the killer had made, he would have got away with it. The first mistake was to leave a grave open long enough to be seen by the observant landowner. So, first one, left that grave open for the Japanese landowner to find out.
So he just dug the grave open and just waiting for the to kill somebody or something. Is that the case, or did he dig the grave and then put the body in and just left it open, or what did he do?
Well, that's the first one that we spoke about, where the Japanese guy saw the hole in the ground.
Oh, right, okay, so
and
you're backtracking, yeah.
And it was
okay.
so yeah. So I'm going through the mistakes that the guy made.
Yeah.
But he had made a few mistakes. So the first was to leave open the grave long enough to be seen by the observant Japanese landowner. The second was allowing witnesses to see him with his victims. For example, one victim had been talking with another job contractor when Juan had driven by. That particular person had shouted to the man asking for work, and when Juan stopped to talk with him, he got in the truck to never be seen again. The third, and perhaps the most crucial mistake, was that he had accidentally buried a receipt with his name on it with one victim named Melford Sample.
Oh dear.
The name on the receipt was Juan V. Corona. So, big indication there that he might have a little something to do with it, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How else would that receipt get there?
Well, the plot may thicken. Alan, the plot may thicken.
Okay.
The sheriff who was in charge, Sheriff Roy Whitaker, he had already picked up some information about Juan that disturbed him. According to the story, Corona was a key suspect in an incident across the Feather River in Murraysville. A man had been viciously beaten nearly to death in a local cafe. Can you guess the cafe?
The Juan's Cafe.
His brother's cafe.
Oh, yeah.
His brother's cafe.
I thought they owned it together.
No. Juan ran the worker stuff. His brother ran the cafe. The man was found bleeding in the bathroom from serious head wounds. Sheriff Whitaker also discovered that despite his brother being gay, Juan had allegedly had numerous run-ins with gay men in the past, with people saying he would seemingly become enraged around them.
Right, so like he maybe was gay himself and he didn't like it, or he just didn't like gay people, or...
Maybe.
Okay.
That could be it. Maybe. That's definitely one of the theories that someone comes up with. So not only this, but during the time the police had been digging at the site, the sheriff had noticed a blue and white pickup truck observing the area from a distance. The truck closely resembled that of Juan Corona's. Which, that's kind of an eerie thought, right? That you're digging up all these bodies over like a dirty, horrible makeshift graveyard, and there's this van just watching.
Yeah.
From a distance. Juan looks down and sees all the bodies. Never mind.
You've lost him. I've
gone. Fuck. It's the heat again. It's randomly gone hot again. It cooled down for a hot second, and then it's got fucking roasted again.
Now the whole world's hot.
Yes, it is. Yeah, fuck. And R.I.P. to them people in Japan.
Yeah,
man. That's really sad that they're dying because it's too hot. Because it's not usually hot in those certain areas, and they don't have air conditioning, so they haven't got the tools to survive. We have greatly digressed onto a current affairs topic about the heat in Japan and people dying. But global warming isn't a real thing, apparently. So it's not that. Must be them damn homosexuals. Anyway,
We've digressed completely.
Back to the frigging story. Police picked up Juan on murder charges. The case against him was based almost completely on the receipts that they found on Melford Sample's body, and the rest was purely circumstantial evidence. Because it was only circumstantial evidence, the police searched his home to try and find some more hard-hitting, concrete evidence they could sort of nail him with. In his house, they found an 18-inch machete, a pistol.
No surprise there.
Yeah. A pistol, 2 butcher knives, and a ledger that contained the names of 7 victims. They also noticed bloodstains inside Juan's Chevrolet Impala.
Can I just ask, is that another book? Another book?
Another book? Oh, no, it's a ledger that contains the name of the victims. But considering that these people worked for him, I don't think that's very... I That's not unusual, I don't think.
Okay, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Maybe not. But it's certainly enough to link him to them. Anyway, yeah. So that he knows them. They can prove that he knows them. They can prove that he knows them.
The reasons why I was saying that is just because near enough all these stories that we've discussed up to now have some sort of book or paper with them, all the names written down, and like, fuck.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that in the last episode where we went on to that, where they were talking about that. But this isn't that.
Yeah.
He's just got. I think it's just like a workbook thing. So with Juan now taken into custody, the police carried out the search a little longer because again they didn't want to miss any little detail that they might be able to sort of get him up. They actually used aircraft taking infrared photography to locate suspicious areas, and with that they saw that the place Juan had buried the body, they noticed that it had actually been quite cleverly chosen. It was an extremely secluded spot away from, you wouldn't have really noticed it unless that guy had sort of noticed, through those little woody bits.
Yeah.
There's that. So he was very clever. But with that in mind, the police wondered if he had possibly done the same elsewhere. So if he secretly buried him here, is there anywhere else he could have put him?
That's good thinking, that, to be fair.
Well, the instincts were right. Near a prune orchard, not too far away, deeper in the woods, the police found more graves. And once again, they began digging. One of the bodies that was found was described as nearly having his head removed from his body from the force of the blow that would have clearly killed him.
Jesus Christ.
How can you hit someone over the head that hard that their head nearly comes off?
Well, you see it like in maybe not in the same sort of in the same sort of context as like when somebody's like crazily angry, it's just like sheer brute force.
The adrenaline gives them superhuman strength.
Yeah.
Well, that could be a good...
I'd actually agree with that, to be fair. That
could be a good little pointer just to take a little look at Juan. So let's have a little look at Juan right here. This is... He actually... There with the glasses, he actually looks like when Danny Trejo played... remember in Halloween when he played like the security guard in the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween?
I don't think I've seen that.
Yes, you have. Oh my, you do this every time. You've seen that movie. We watched it. Yeah. So, yeah, he looks a bit like him with the glasses on.
Yeah.
There, not so much. But he doesn't look like, he's not like Dwayne The Rock Johnson in one foul swoop to the back of the head and your head flies off, right?
Yeah, but he looks a bit beefy, though.
He probably is, to be honest. If he's a sort of physical worker, he probably is quite a fit man. Not my type, though. Not at all.
Not mine either.
No. Purely for the fact that he is seemingly a serial killer. So yeah, that's him. If you guys want to go see a couple of hot pics of Juan Corona, go to our Facebook page, Adventures in Birdland, and we'll pop a few of them up there. There's not too much. It's not too many pictures that I can find about things. There's a couple of these, and there's one of the hole where the body's in, but that's a bit gruesome, grisly. So I don't know. I might put that up. I might not do. Again, just like the last time, the body that they found had paperwork in his pocket that sort of linked him to Juan. So the body with the decapitated head sort of had some paperwork on it. I'm guessing it was maybe like work notes or something like that, maybe like a work license or some shit. Maybe.
I don't get, why is he... If he's going to go all this effort to kill somebody, hide the body, like in like a where no one will go sort of thing.
Yeah.
But just in case somebody does find the body, not take out any kind of evidence that would point it towards him.
Well,
it doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't, and that's why this gets a little tricky at the end. A little bit tricky. The police searched the farm for 9 days in total, until on June 4th, after uncovering a total of 25 bodies.
Wow.
The police called the search off at that point. They were probably like, fuck, this is going to be a lot of fucking paperwork, boys.